Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Phillips with Lionel Trains, and I am honored to be kicking off the second annual Lionel Virtual Summit for the Lionel Collectors Club of America. Of course, I'd rather be doing this in person. We've grown to love these events over the years. Every time we go, we get to see friends, and over the years, it's truly become like family. It's like a family reunion every year when we get to see everybody and catch up and really get to connect and share our love of trains and our passion for Lionel. We have a great show for you today. I think you guys are going to be in store for a lot of great content. We are excited to first come out and really share a state of the business, what's going on with Lionel. Howard's going to take us through a little bit about what's happening with the brand, how we're moving forward, and a lot of the exciting things that we have coming down the pipeline. And then really one of the benefits for you guys as LCCA members is that we give you a preview of the full C2 catalog before any other consumer. So really it's an exciting time. We love catalog launches. There's so much buzz and excitement in the air at Lionel. It's a great time for us. All the hard work that's been in place, we really get to bring that to consumers and really share our love of the products that have been created with the general public. So we're excited to bring this to life. And one of the things we'd like to do is that we will also be sharing a little bit of a new announcement. So we're excited on several fronts to have some great content and have a great show for all of you guys. Before we begin, I would like to take a minute and really jump into a quick video for you guys. One of the things we like to do at the conventions is start with a video. So I'd like to start with one right out of the gate.
Here's the story of the Lionel family, celebrating 121 years of trains, and the trains made memories like no other. They quickly came to fame. It's the story of a man named Joshua who was starting a company on his own. It was the year of 1900. Bell had invented the phone. Till the one day when the train was in a window, people wanted more than their lunch. That's when Joshua knew his train was legendary. And that's the way we all became the Lionel Bunch. The Lionel Bunch. The Lionel Bunch. That's the way we became the Lionel Bunch.
I hope all of you enjoyed it. We really love to have a great time at Lionel. Our personalities come out every year at the conventions. We like to interact with members and have a good time, show a little bit of fun, but also really what makes Lionel special is we're, as iconic as the Brady Bunch, things like that. The Brady Bunch really does a great job of summing up the Lionel Bunch. We are family here. I think a lot of you see us at train shows. You talk through the forums, through our call center. We truly love what we do. It really is a family. We back each other up. We have strong bonds. We want to make the best product for all of you. So it's an exciting time for all of us to get to be in the seats that we're in and get to present to all of you guys today. So before we go and I introduce my next guest, I really would like to thank all of you for your passion for Lionel. It's the passion that you have for our products, and it's the way that you guys share your love of trains with the next generation that's hopefully going to allow us to be around for another 121 years to continue to share the magic. With that, I want to thank you guys for joining us today and let you know that you're in store for a great show. And take a chance to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Howard Hitchcock, who's going to walk us through state of the business and a couple other updates.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Good afternoon to all of the LCCA members who have joined us live, and we'll see this eventually once it's reposted. We appreciate the opportunity to get in front of you guys and just sort of share an update, a state of the business. As Mike said, hard to believe that 2 years ago we were in Reno. I guess it was, and then we were expecting to all get together in Omaha, and we would have been in Scranton. And so, not the way we'd like to see this come together, but technology has allowed us to really kind of continue to engage the Lionel fan and to bring the love of Lionel to life in a different way. And so, everybody globally is figuring out how to reimagine their business, their operations, communications with COVID. And so we have done the same. And so, as Mike said, this is the second version of this. Our Brady video was a lot of fun to film, and tried to include little characteristics of the different personalities. But before we jump into sort of the state of the business, one of the things that I would do this year is to celebrate the presidency of our very good friend, Harry Hansen. And so we typically will bring Harry up and talk about some of the working experiences that we've had. We've known Harry a very long time, him and his wonderful wife, Bridget. Really bring a lot to the meets and to all of the interactions that we have with Harry. Little bit of a truly unique presidency. The only president, I believe, who did not have, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe the only presidency who didn't have a convention, and really had to guide the club through some really interesting times. How do you continue engagement with the loyal base? How do you continue to make things interesting? Lots of work that was sort of spent on trying to get conventions pulled together at different events, and all for naught, unfortunately. And so really, really unfortunate, because what a great guy Harry is, and what a great job he did throughout the course of this very difficult time in business in general. And so for a moment, I'd like to bring Harry on, and let's get him up on the screen. There we go.
Howard, good to see you.
Good to see you. I wish it was in person, to be honest with you.
I agree.
But as I said in my little intro monologue there, a real heartfelt thanks for all that you've done for not only LCCA, but you continue to do to support Lionel. You have had a very, very interesting, challenging presidency. But certainly one that will go down in the history books. And, I know that the club is only going to come out stronger for it. So we do thank you for all of those efforts. Typically, like I said, what we would do at this point is present you with one of our most prestigious trains. So we sent ahead a couple of gift items. One is the Lino Lines GS, which is one of our finest and most recent Vision Line products for you to have and celebrate. I see you've already got lots in your collection back there behind you, but certainly have and celebrate to commemorate the efforts and the work. But there is a smaller box that if you have it next to you there, and you could kind of open it for again, not typical, right? We've normally we're joking around on stage. It's just so different. These presentations are uniquely challenging because you get no audience feedback. You're sort of
Well, the interesting thing about the gift is that Lauren warned me not to open it on pain of death, so I followed my orders here. And this is
you don't want Lauren to be upset with it, that's for sure.
A nice note. The Lionel team would like to thank you for your hard work and dedication during the past 2 years. Your term as president of the LCCA has been like no other during this unprecedented time. And that's what all my LCCA friends tell me. This has been like no other. We've seen the club adapt to new technology and leverage new expanded ways of sharing the magic of model trains. We cannot thank you enough for the continued support of Lionel Trains. Good luck with all your endeavors, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Best wishes, the Lionel team, and thank you so much. This has been a tough couple of years, but I can say unequivocally that our loyal members have stayed with LCCA throughout. Our membership is strong. Our products have sold extremely well, and through the good work with Lionel, things couldn't be better for us. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody, Lionel team and all of our LCCA friends in Nashville in 2022. Let's see what exciting item is in here. Very well wrapped.
We too, Harry, are very excited about Nashville. We are looking forward to it after a hiatus.
It's a little hard to see, but it says it's a boxcar, a personalized boxcar with my name and dates of service and words of thanks.
Yeah. So we're actually bringing it up on screen so everybody can kind of see what it looks like.
Perfect.
And I will read it to you. It says, thank you for your hard work and dedication to the Lionel Collectors Club of America and keeping the love of trains alive for generations to come. Your name on the door, LCCA President 2000, I think it says 19 and 20 or 21, maybe 19 through 21. And then the Lionel's Collectors Club of America logo on the other side. So a nice piece for an equally wonderful man. But thank you for everything that you've done for us as Lionel and the club. And we know you're not going anywhere you'll be immediate past president, so you'll still certainly be involved. But
yeah, Mr. Gambino has told me he's keeping me around for a bit, so
yes,
I won't disappear totally. But I do want to thank the Lionel team for the gifts. They're much appreciated, and I want to tell you how much I've enjoyed working closely with you. It has always been a great pleasure.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the service to the club. So on that note, I'm going to let you go and enjoy the rest of the presentation. I, at the same time, want to welcome Sal Gambino in as the incoming new president. We have known Sal for a long time and have worked closely with him and continue to do so. So we're excited, of course, about continuity there, and look forward to an in-person presentation next time with all you guys there. So thank you very much, Harry. Have a good one.
You.
You're welcome. All right. Well, we are done that portion of it. So now we're going to move on to sort of just an overview or state of the business. As we've sort of discussed, mentioned, unprecedented times, Lionel during COVID, going back to March 17th, actually St. Patrick's Day in 2020, we went from I talk about a story where we have a group get together every year where we kind of kick off, do an all hands meeting and talk about the state of the business, where we're going, the budget, the goals for the year. And in early 2020, we were down the road at a race team in a venue. We were aware of COVID at the time, but like many things that have occurred in the Far East, sort of expected it to be a relatively localized situation. Obviously, that changed radically, and this was before there was much talk of COVID possibly even spreading here stateside or throughout the globe. So we were, as I said, we were aware of it. We were very optimistic about 2020, and within a matter of about 7 days, we went from having those conversations to trying to figure out how to move an entire company that is based in a physical location to remote. And the IT team, of course, moved mountains, yeoman's job. But what really impressed me was the overall organization and the overall organization's ability to adapt and to continue to do the job that they needed to do with the tools that we had, and really kind of continue to drive things forward. And I don't feel we missed a beat, to be honest with you. The group, everybody did what they had to do, made up ways of working. Some things that we didn't need to do, we stopped doing, to be quite honest with you. And other things, we found new ways of doing them. Our China team, we do have locals on the ground, boots on the ground in China. They have worked tremendously hard and well without the direct supervision that they were used to having. So it's been well over 2 years that we've had a U.S. representative on the ground there. So everybody really stepped up, and that was awesome. Obviously, we've advanced. We got through 2020, the end of 2020, fourth quarter, did a great job, kept things shipping, got the product here. Was it flawless? No, but we really did well. We were very, very proud of the accomplishments of 2020. Came back, or actually got into early 21, C1, extremely well received, great product. The team worked very, very hard throughout the course of that period of time to bring all those things to life that obviously was well received because it was so well ordered. And so we're now in the process of building all that product and trying to get it here. We all know of the obstacles that are in front of us. Depending on where you are in the country, you're in a different phase of reopening. I believe largely most places around the country have reopened to some degree. Here in North Carolina, we came back to the office in staged approaches in June. Everybody was wearing masks. Then came the rollout of the vaccines, and as a result, CDC recommendations continue to evolve and change. Now we have at least 50% vaccinated group here. So we're the CDC has allowed us to operate a little bit more normally if we're vaccinated. And to be here, we have now at this point brought back nearly all employees to the office, which is great. It's collaborative. Building products and making things that people touch and sort of bringing them to life is absolutely something that is collaborative, right? And it works better when you're able to just walk down, say hi to somebody, work through something. If not, it's very deliberate. So we have ways to communicate. There's telephones and Zoom calls and all these other sorts of new technologies. We even rolled out something called Slack, which is a chat sort of situation. But we really kind of, I think have something by being together. And I think that's sort of demonstrated in sort of the Brady Bunch video. Looks like a comment came in from John. I kind of missed that. Sorry. Thank you, Sadie. I loved all the online stuff that Lionel did over the last year. As I am in the Southwest, and Lionel doesn't usually do train shows out here. That was actually one of the big things that we kind of found as a way of interacting with customers and actually reaching new audiences or expanded audiences, is that the technology and the evolution of this technology that we've been employing to operate the business does so well help us to adapt and move into communication with our fans and collectors. And so we will continue to do a lot of that stuff. It's going to certainly be a hybrid. And that's, I think, the biggest thing coming out of this as we look at Q3 and beyond on this slide is we've got this. We've figured out how to operate in this environment. It's great that we're back, but we do have the ability to adapt. We have the ability to be flexible. We have the ability to leverage the tools. And quite frankly, the business has changed. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to see globally as consumers in America. The way businesses operate and interact with their fans, their customers, has changed. And that's largely for the better. There are obviously challenges to this year. If you see anything, demos with Dave in the workshop Wednesdays have been awesome. Another great comment. Yes, they have. That's been a great way of sharing and experiencing the love of Lionel in a different format. We'll continue those for sure. But what I was saying is if you're following any news at all, you know that there are global shortages. If you just go to the store, you can tell there's global shortages of different things. We are not immune. Our products are electronic. Electronic chips, Bluetooth in particular, are extraordinarily challenging at this point. We have rolled out Bluetooth, and so we've been working very, very hard to secure the needed components and parts. Shipping is another massive issue. Container availability, timing. We have factories that have warehouses of products that are waiting on containers to get those here. So our timelines, our lead times, even the factory work staffs, they are not back to normal. The globe has not fully recovered. But we are working with all of the partners, whether that be our factory, our team over in China, our teams here, the logistics companies, and we are working to work through all of this, do the best we can in the environment we have. I think we've got really good plans. I think we continue to execute. It seems like it's a little bit like whack-a-mole on a Monday. We come in and there are things popping up that we didn't expect, but we set them up, knock them down, and keep moving. And that's really a credit to the entire team. think we'll move to the next slide. One of the things I do want to talk a little bit about is not only during COVID did we actually execute, deliver, and bring out new products. There's always 3 product cycles that are working at any given time. It's the products that you're making and delivering. It's the products that are rolling out in the catalog, and it's the next catalog that they're working on to make sure that you've got products so that you can continue to feature that and drive that forward. But technology has really been a key focus. The ability to control our trains with apps through digital devices. We know kids, that's Megan's son there, who is in charge of our sets. Megan, our product manager, who many of you know. Kids aren't going to get rid of digital devices, right? They're never going to take them out of their hand. And we brought the Lion Chief control system with the remote. We've advanced that with our Lion Chief app. And this past catalog, we introduced 2 new additions to the Bluetooth technology, Lionel voice control and voice streaming and recording. And so I'll talk about them separately. Lionel voice control is actually available to all of our Bluetooth products. So the cool part about this is we were able to add a new feature set that, much like you would be used to using with any of your voice controlled assistants, whether that be Siri, Hey Google, or the other one I can't say because it's sitting on my desk, those would, this now allows you through the app to control your train by giving it voice command. And it will learn and adapt to that and ultimately perform the functions that you ask it to do through the voice command by touching the button to activate it. The fun part is we were able to roll this back all the way to the first Bluetooth set that we have. So this is something that we've unlocked in all of them, and it is available if you have any Bluetooth enabled product that Lionel has put out. This feature is available to all of those products through the app. You just have to make sure your app has updated in the App Store, whether that be on Apple or Android. So great sort of enhancement, adds play value and interactivity. And we have even buried a couple of Easter eggs in there for different theme products, so you can play around with different things. But one of our favorites is Star Trek and Engage. If we move to voice streaming and recording, so this is a function that we added that really is for Bluetooth 5.0. So 5.0, an advancement from 4.0, allows us to stream and carry more data through the connection. And what that ultimately allows us to do is not only have the announcements that are buried into the product in the product, but it does allow us to live stream your voice, your announcements through the locomotive to the product, or record one of 3 different recordings and play them back at any time you want. So the example I always use is if we don't want to hear Tom Hanks saying all aboard anymore on the Polar Express, you can now take over that role, pre-record yourself saying all aboard or whatever version of that you'd like to hear, and then press that button and have it play his or your rendition of all aboard onto the train as it's moving around. So it, again, really designed to expand the interactivity, play value of the trains. We love the app. This is Bluetooth really does give us truly a platform that at a basic level allows for control across all of our products through one platform. Obviously, as you move into the legacy world, having the legacy control system opens up and allows you to get the full advantage of all of the features buried into our products. But this is a great way of doing that. Comment VSR has so many possibilities. It could be used to have stories and challenges. Yeah, it does. This is only the tip of the iceberg. We talk about enhancements and future play scenarios, different things that we would like to do as we move forward. Even the notion of potentially having sound packages that could be either used, downloaded, purchased. So lots of different things that could potentially be done with this going forward. More to come. You'll see more development from us for sure in the Bluetooth space. Moving on to the next slide. This announcement is actually, you guys are seeing it early, 5 p.m. today. Anybody who sort of has been reading tea leaves would sort of know that this is the next iteration, but we are pleased to announce that we have acquired some of the MTH O-gauge tooling, with MTH originally set to close down operations. Tooling was made available to competitor companies to acquire, and we certainly looked at the tooling and looked for holes in our line, products that we could potentially pick up, expand, leverage our technology, our IP, and our advanced operating systems to bring about new and different products utilizing some of the tooling. So when Ryan and Dave come on in a couple of minutes to share with you some of the catalogs, you'll certainly see a few of the tools that we acquired. There will be more to come in that, but we see it as a nice expansion of our existing product line and a good step forward for us and for the O-gauge market. I am getting close to wrapping up. One of the things that I do want to touch on is the Lino warehouse sale. This year, and of course, this is dependent on COVID and how all things continue to move about. But under the current environment, and given the current sort of spread and everything else, we believe that we could pull off a one-day event. We are moving it earlier, so it is not post Thanksgiving this year, or I'm sorry, post Halloween. We are doing it in September, so not really Christmas in July either. But it's a time that works for the Lino warehouse. The operations are getting more and more sort of crazy at the end of the year with the amount of shipping that has to be done, the way that the business models are changing with the direct-to-consumer shipments and our inbound receipts. There are still lots of questions, obviously, on timing because of container availability, ship space availability. So we felt comfortable having a one-day sale, September 25th. We will also, in conjunction with that, do our annual parts sale, which will be the full weekend online, September 24th through 26th. So that's could be a good opportunity. We actually are looking forward to seeing a couple of folks coming down. I believe Sal is going to be down, as well as a few others from the LCCA. So we're looking forward to seeing those guys again. But we're pleased with that. Yeah, Dave, Sal, and Talk actually are going to be down. That is about all the news that I wanted to take time and share with you guys. I do want to reiterate the future for Lionel is bright. We continue to see extremely strong interaction. COVID has been good for the hobby in one way, in that people have gotten back to the roots of playing with trains. We have seen an increase in the amount of consumption. People are building their layouts. They're enjoying things that they may have been too busy for before. It has caused a lot of people to reevaluate what's important, and some of what's important is enjoying their hobbies. And we are pleased to be part of that legacy, that experience, those fond memories. And that's really what it's all about. It all started because of fond memories, probably as a youth of receiving a train, perhaps under the Christmas tree, as we sort of pointed out in the Brady video. It started really with the train in the window. But as I said, we are excited about C2, which is about to be previewed. There's been a lot of hard work that's gone into this through very difficult times in any business. Very proud of the team that's not only pulled this event together, has kept train on the tracks, pun intended, gone through and figured out new ways to interact and share all of what's great about Lionel with everybody, consumers, the trade, who have remained engaged in the business and have taken us as far as they have. It's going to be a successful year for us. We look forward to seeing everybody hopefully next summer, Nashville. Thank you for your continued support, your continued love of Lionel Trains, your passion for Lionel and the LCCA. With that, I do want to bring out Ryan Kunkel, who is our Director of Product for the train side of the business, as well as Dave Olson, who is his partner in crime, who is responsible for all of our technology and engineering. Guys, take it away, and thank you everyone for your attention and attending this event.
Thank you very much, Howard, and thank you to all of the LCCA members who are joining us today. As Howard said and Mike said, we definitely miss doing this in person, and especially this part of it where we get the fun interaction of doing these with you and getting the immediate feedback from all of our friends, as well as just an excuse to go out and see new parts of the country and new people and not be in the same walls all the time. But next year, definitely looking forward to hopefully being back with you once again and not just online. And for those who may be catching into this because we're online, this is a nice pitch for the LCCA, so you can see some of what we do with the club and the great things that the club does, and working with our brand and with all the fans out there. So with that said, Dave, you ready to go through this catalog?
Yeah, it's actually my first LCCA event I've been to, Ryan. So just finally blessing the people with my presence.
Well, they're lucky to have you here today. This is sort of a dry run for us. We're going to hit all the big highlights of the catalog. We've taken some of the individual images out and blown them up so you'll be able to see them a little bit more on the screen. And then tomorrow morning, of course, the full catalog drops. So we're not going to necessarily talk about every single road name in the catalog today. Give you a little something to look forward to in the morning. And then Dave and I will be back on with our usual Ryan and Dave show, reunited once again on Monday to go over the catalog again for the masses. So if there's things we don't cover today, or if you have questions, be sure to tune in to our social media on Monday for that event as well. And with that, I think we've kept them waiting long enough, Dave. Let's go ahead and get started on the catalog. One of the first big announcements with some all new tooling on this locomotive, and that is our Baldwin. Look, my lights just went out. We're live here. Our Baldwin Standard 1927 Decapod, better known to most people as Strasburg Great Western number 90.
210. The great part about this too is that we're going to have a die cast frame underneath, right, Ryan?
That's right. So for those who, we've talked about some of these at past conventions, and you've probably seen some of them at past shows. This is our third or fourth brass hybrid model now, Dave. And what we do with these is it's a combination of die cast tooling and brass tooling and castings to create unique locomotives. Now, in this case, this is an all-new locomotive. I know some people are already speculating, based off of the announcement that Howard just shared, that we've acquired some 210 chassis from MTH, and that may or may not be true. But whether or not we have those chassis, there's nothing from MTH or anybody else in this locomotive. This is not another Russian Decapod disguised as 90. This is a true-to-life scale model of this locomotive. We've been working for about 2 years now with the Strasburg Railroad using their original drawings, original blueprints, and then their shop teams for all the modifications that have been made to the locomotive over the decades to bring this to life for the first time. This locomotive, probably the single most requested engine or product on all of our social media and shows over the last at least 5 or 6 years. And I've spent a lot of time in Strasburg myself. I'm familiar with the engine. It's always sort of surprised me that a locomotive this popular and somewhat widespread hadn't been done repeatedly in any scale. So this will be a truly accurate rendition of the 210. We'll be doing several different versions in this first release of the locomotive, including several different versions for the Strasburg Railroad itself, different decoration schemes, and even some minor detail variations from year to year on the Strasburg schemes, as well as some of the other railroads that owned similar locomotives, including the Great Western, Seaboard. We're doing the Osage in this first round because this was really a standard locomotive that Baldwin cataloged in the 1920s. And they sold a few dozen of them to different railroads. Most of them ended up on the Seaboard. And despite only being 20-some units altogether in construction, there's still about half a dozen of these surviving, but 90 is definitely the most famous. So we can get some more miles out of this. We'll be doing some different variations down the road with the extended smoke box and things like that as well.
Yep.
So we spent a lot of time researching this engine to make sure it's done properly and right. 90 is not a big locomotive. So Dave was working very closely with our design team on trying to cram as much as we could into this little thing. We did get full legacy and Bluetooth in here. We've got our legacy rail sounds. Of course, we are working with Railroad on the sounds as well. So we will have some Strasburg specific announcements and dialogue here. And we also got whistle steam into this locomotive which was a bit of a stretch, but we squeezed it in there for everybody because we know how popular that feature is.
Yeah,
So brass hybrid. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, one thing that people really underestimate is, this is a 210-0, but it's a small engine, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, this is not a Penske I1 by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
So with the brass hybrid, you get the best of both worlds. You get die-cast precision in the frame and mechanism. You get all the legacy electronics and control, but then the fine detail and uniqueness of a handcrafted brass model. So we combine the best of both worlds to give you a truly amazing model. These are very limited run pieces, so make sure that you do see your dealers right away to order these and get these going. We will build to the orders that we get.
And these will also have many of the new features that we've come out with in legacy steam engines the past couple of years now, with the bicolor marker lights on both the front of the engine and the rear of the tender, changing from white to green or from red to white. And this will have 5 different whistles, and the primary will be Strasburg 90's whistle. And we are actually going to get the recording from Strasburg 90 and use that. So it's not going to be some made-up whistle. We're going to use the actual recording from 90, as well as using some road-specific audio and some actual audio from the railroad itself, so specific to Strasburg. So this is going to be a very nice engine that we put a lot of work into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're very excited about this one. I've teased it a couple times over the past few years because it's been in work for a long time. We do want, of course, to put some passenger cars with the train, and you see a couple of them here on the slide. There'll be a whole 2-page spread of these in the catalog, so you'll be able to see all those. We've got different paint schemes to match the different eras. Right now, the more modern eras on the Strasburg on 64-foot coaches and a combine. That is some tooling that we've acquired recently. And then we'll also be doing the heavyweight 18-inch cars for the Paradise / the Reading Car 10. That's been a fixture at the railroad for many decades now. So you'll have appropriate cars to go alongside with the locomotive and have a great train.
Yeah, this is definitely a tease, Ryan, because you're only showing a couple of schemes, and there's quite a few choices of these passenger cars in this catalog launching tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's move on to some more things. And Dave, this will be a good chance for you to talk about some more of those what is now standard legacy features that that we've upgraded. And here's our Legacy 280. We've had a lot of really good success over the past couple of years with some of our smaller legacy steam engines.
Yes,
and it's a nice refreshing change because usually the big engines get all the attention and drive all the big sales. But there's been a bit of a return in the market to appreciation of engines that can run on 031 curves and have all the bells and whistles, so to speak, of their bigger counterparts, but a smaller price tag and fit a smaller layout.
Yeah, and this one's based on our SP Harriman consolidation with many other road names now that you've been able to add in with road-specific detailing. And this is another one that goes in line very well with what Ryan was just saying with our small legacy steam engines that have been doing well the past couple of years. We did our legacy Penske B6 SB, and that one sold very well as the Camelback that we're about to produce. So this one is the next venture into small steam that I think will do very well, especially with the different road names that Ryan has picked.
Yeah, we've got a great assortment from all over the country on these, and a few small detail changes here from road to road as well to make them a little bit more indicative of the look of those railroads. Several in separate sale, and we've got a fun Grand Canyon set here as well pictured. We'll work on the train. You guys just have to model the canyon.
That might put them in the hole.
that it might. All right. Well, let's get to something bigger. Dave, you're an SP fan. I'm going to leave this one all up to you.
Well, it has been a number of years since we did the full-scale Legacy AC-12. As everybody knows, this is our version of the cab forward. It is the AC-12, but SP had a whole bunch of cab forwards, but this one being the most famous because of the survivor that is still at the Railroad Museum in California, 4294. So we've upgraded the electronics in this as we have with all of our other Legacy steam engines, and this guy is a brute on any layout, not just an SP layout. So I think one of the more exciting parts of us releasing this engine right now is the different what if paint schemes that Ryan has come up with for the SP. So
yeah, the cab forward
some of those.
Started it all. With our what if fantasy schemes. The Daylight cab forward in 2014 was the first one that we tried it like that and really took off. And so there's a pretty good chance that you'll see a slightly different variation of that in the current catalog, as well as a few others. We've got this early scheme here, which is an accurate cab forward decoration scheme, just not for the AC-12 class, were the earlier ones. And we really like the look of the light gray boiler and the dark red cab roof and smoke graphite and so forth. And it's a nice trim overall. But we also, of course, do have some prototypical variations for the paint scheme here as well.
Yeah.
And in case the cab forward isn't your cup of tea, but you like really big kind of what the heck were they thinking power, the 412-2 comes to mind for those. And we haven't done this one in many years as well. So another big engine, several different variations and prototypical paint schemes for the Union Pacific. Of course, we've got the 9000, which is the Survivor. And then we've done some fantasy roads here as well on lines that seemed like they could have acquired similar power or where it just looked right. I mean, to me, the C&O probably never even considered a 412-2 for many good reasons. But with the air pumps up front, the Vandy tender, it just has that C&O look to it. And it fit this model quite well. And Dave, you want to comment a little bit about the sound system on these and that third piston chuff and so forth?
Yeah, so most steam engines, you're used to 4 chuffs per revolution, but obviously having that third cylinder in the center underneath the steam chest, you actually will get 6 chuffs per revolution. So we will accurately mimic that with the Legacy rail sound system.
So these are fun ones, and they will do an 072 curve. One of the things Dave and I found interesting as we were researching this, of course, we've got some blind drivers on here, but the prototype wasn't. They were all flange drivers and a rigid 12-wheel driver base. So pretty interesting locomotive and sort of the precursors to the Challengers and Big Boys and other big engines that came to follow.
I can imagine it was very unforgiving to small radii.
I don't think they had 031 in mind.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move into some of our scale diesels. Modern diesels have been a hot topic for us for as long as I've been with the company. They seem to lead the pack. And so we're bringing the SD70 Mac back this time in the catalog. As our modern diesels go, this one has a little bit of an advantage for the smaller layout operators. It's 036 curve friendly. It doesn't have the kinematic pilots on it, but that allows it to go around the sharper curves quite easily. So you get a lot of nice features in these as well on an engine that is sized for large or small layouts and popular from the mid-90s to the present day. So we've done a variety of brand new paint schemes You're only seeing a small piece of them here. We've got some patch jobs. We've got the infamous BNSF experimental scheme, the one-time issue of that, the Norfolk Southern rebuilds with the yellow mains. And what we're doing for the SD70s this time, a little bit different than we've done in the past. We've had a lot of success with our super base engines in the F units and FAs and E units. Wanted to do something for the guys who like mixed motive power lash ups and modern power lash ups. So these and the next engines you'll see, we're doing 2 road numbers that are powered and a super base option as well for a 3rd locomotive for most of these paint schemes where there's that many numbers available at least. So you can mix and match power to get that extra sound if you'd like, or mix a super bass unit in with some of your other modern power to kick that sound up a notch. And the super bass units have everything that the powered units have except for the motors. They've got the smoke, they've got the lighting, all the legacy control features there. So a nice versatile engine and good options for your modeling.
Yeah, leaving out the motors allows us to increase the capacity for the speakers and really give the engine the bassy sound that it needs. So if you get 2 of the powered units and the super bass unit, you really can have a powerful 3 train concepts pulling your train.
All right. Next, we've got SD45s back again. Also here again, 2 powered and a super bass option for each of the road names. We're just showing you a couple of them here. These engines are loaded to the gills with customized features, so that no 2 road names are exactly the same. And by that, I mean we've varied more than just the air horn type or the antenna on the roof. These have different truck side frames, different battery boxes, different handbrake locations, high noses, low noses, small detail changes, all the whole works so that you get a very accurate locomotive. These also do have the kinematic pilot, so that they look like they have a straight pilot, and it stays closer together until you're going into a curve, which is a nice feature. It does increase the minimum curve a little bit, but we do want to note, while we rate these at 054, if you're using most of the typical rolling stock that you would put with these, like a scale boxcar, for example, behind the locomotive that has a decent amount of weight to it, very often you'll have no trouble pulling those around in 042 or 048 curve. It's only if you're running the engine with really lightweight cars behind it that you have an issue on anything tighter than 054. So we give it a conservative rating on these, but if you're looking at the SD45s or our previous releases of SD40s, SD38s, you can sneak those on an 048 or an 042 curve if you've got the right cars behind it, and of course the side-to-side clearance on your layout.
One thing to note too with all these engines that we're talking about right now is that these do have the new legacy electronics, so you will be getting 5 different horns or whistles for the steam engines, as well as 5 different pitch levels of the bell. So it definitely mixes up the sound that you're able to customize with your engines and really make it your own.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Dave and Tracy and his team down there on that. They've done a great job adding in some extra value and play fun with these. And now if you don't like the horn that I picked for the engine, you've got 4 other options in there to work with and find one that you like or change them up. And we also have some fun. On our prototypical units, we stay pretty true to form, but as we've done Christmas or Halloween or other themed engines, it gives us the opportunity to give you even more fun and value in the sound sets that we use.
Great. Oh man.
Oh yeah. So if you like 412.2s, you're gonna like DD35As.
Pulling up big guns.
The diesel equivalent of UP's philosophy of let's do something so big everyone else would think it was insane. The UP was the only road that rostered these engines. They use several different minor paint variations over the years, and we'll have all those in the catalog. We've also got a what if modern UP paint scheme with the flag and a couple of fantasy schemes as well just because they looked pretty cool. We've heard some requests and some rumblings to bring this one back, and I'm glad we did. It's a neat locomotive. It's huge, but it is a fun one. We've added the walkway sandboxes on these as a new tooling and new detail this go round. Of course, this will be the first time with Legacy and Bluetooth control as well. These have the extra smoke unit in because of they are in the real life 2 diesels on one frame. So we recreate them as such.
Yeah, and these do have a bit larger of a curve radius required since they are just such big engines, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think these have an 048 minimum, 054 recommended status on them as well. Yeah. And here it really is that length and that fuel tank. Your inside clearance on your curve is where it's tricky. If you're running our 86-foot high cubes and scale auto racks, you'll have no trouble. But if you might want to keep an eye on any trees or structures or bridges you have near your tracks when you go around a tight curve or something like this.
For sure, this will be a great one.
But if you like small power, because good things come in small packages also.
Yep.
We've got our SW1200 and its other derivations. We've got some of these are actually SW7s, SW9s.
1200.
But if you know trains, you know that that's all just minor differences under the hood. The bodies are pretty much the same, although we do have some detail variations from road to road here as well, like handrail locations and so forth. Dave was instrumental in completely redesigning our small diesel switcher platform about 5 years ago. And it was one of the cases where we built a new frame and a new platform and then have created modular tooling to give us now about half a dozen different switcher configurations that share the same great operating performances. And Dave, you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you did with this frame? Because it is a little bit of a different locomotive with some different features than our larger diesels.
Yeah, so we did, when we revisited this design when we were doing the NW2, we actually needed to make a little bit more room under the hood for the electronics, especially when it came to positioning the smoke unit so that we could do the different variations, whereas you see here we have 2 smoke funnels and the others where there's only 1 smokestack and within different locations on the hood as well. So one way of increasing space on this engine was to take the motor and lay it down inside of the fuel tank. And the motor is dual shaft, so it's actually powering both trucks. And we were able to fit the flywheel and encoder board down in there, and it really opened up room under that hood to position the smoke unit right where we needed it, as well as also greatly improving the sounds. The older version of this small engine had a small pancake speaker underneath the cab, but we were able to redesign the cab to put in the standard 40 millimeter speaker, as well as an enclosure, and that's actually what the crew figures in these engines sit on. So now you have full Legacy Rail Sounds oomph in the sound system in this tiny switcher, and that was something that was really a great improvement. And then last but not least, one of my favorite things on this little engine is simply having solid pilots, or built-in pilots really adds to the authenticity of the real model, in my opinion.
Agreed. I think that's one of the nicest things we have on these locomotives. So many separate sale options here. Again, you're only seeing a couple of the road names that we'll be putting in the catalog. We do have a great bicentennial set as well. One of the more colorful bicentennial trains for the Cambrian Indiana Railroad, another little Pennsylvania short line, and that's a fun one that you'll see more details on when the catalog drops tomorrow.
Oh boy!
All right. So this one definitely ties into Howard's earlier announcement.
Correct.
This is some of the tooling that we have recently acquired from MTH. The C-Liner is now well into the development stages. Dave's been working through with the new design to re-equip this engine and make a lot of improvements to add Legacy and Lionel-ize this locomotive.
Yeah, definitely one of the major improvements that we're having to do with this engine is change the trucks to make them back drivable, which makes the operation more smooth and gives us those slow speed performance that you're used to with Legacy. So acquiring this tooling is great for us to bring out new Legacy engines, but we still have to do the work of making these be Legacy engines. So there's been a lot of engineering and a lot of Ryan's work as well is to really bring these up to par.
So we'll be doing these locomotives as individual sale. You'll buy them 1A unit at a time. As I was looking through things, they ran as often by themselves or with other random locomotives as they did in matched pairs. But we will do 2 road numbers of each. So if you want a match set, of course you can still get that. But if you just want one, you're not kind of stuck buying a 2-unit set of them. Yep. All the versions we're doing this round have that sort of unique 5-axle configuration. There were several variations. We call them all C-liners, but there were several different variations of this locomotive. Some of them had the biggest, most obvious differences were some of them had 2 4-wheel trucks, some of them had a 4-wheel and a 6-wheel truck. For this first round of production, we're doing the 4- and 6-wheel variety, a bunch of paint schemes that have never been offered before, and many that haven't been available in a long time. So you'll see some more of these, and you'll see some matching passenger cars for some of these roads as well. In the catalog when it hits the web tomorrow morning. But these are a fun locomotive, neat one to add into the line, and looking forward to it. And a lot more road names to come on this down the road. All right, I'm not going to get into the 6 or 7 pages worth of scale rolling stock that we have overall in the catalog. We'll give you a little teaser here because we want to save some for tomorrow, but also want to get out of here before you all fall asleep. Sometimes I ramble on, and Dave's nice enough to remind me of that as we go. But we do have some fun freight cars here coming out. We've got the Hobo boxcar is a new sound car, which has some fun features to it. We've got another run of the cupola cam cabooses with the Wi-Fi camera. We've got some more graffiti box cars, which our graffiti cars have been a great seller for us with all those wonderful graphics.
Same with the patch jobs.
Yep. A new CA1 style caboose, including one in Great Western paint. So if you pick up one of the earlier versions of 90, you could have a caboose to go with her as well. Yep.
And a fire truck.
And fire truck on a flat car. And some of those fire trucks might be available separate sale too, in a few more pages in the catalog. You never know. But that, I think, is a neat car because that's a lot of the times the fire truck would be transported like that across the country to a small town, and it would show up on the team track at the TOFC ramp, and you'd probably have the whole town show up to watch the truck get unloaded and join the fire department after the school kids had saved their pennies or whatever to buy that new fire truck for the town. So that's just a modeling scene waiting to happen on your layout right there.
Looks like you already have it planned out.
I think about these things from time to time, Dave. I don't just pull names out of a hat and throw darts at a board to pick this stuff. Not always, anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Only 90% of it. All right. So
all right, this is awesome too.
The bulk of the C2 catalog, as usual, is features in the high end and the scale category, but we do have some real gems in the Lion Chief 2.0, our mid-range line, a new starter set coming up here, and some great accessories as well. And I know, especially in the LCCA, there are a lot of members who are still very fond of the more traditional size trains and enjoy this part of our product line. So we've got a couple of Lion Chief Plus 2.0 locomotives in this catalog. We've got the Hudsons coming back again, and all new to us is the Amtrak Genesis. And you'll see that in a variety of new paint schemes with even more to come later this year as Amtrak gets them actually painted and in service. Dave, I'm going to toss it over to you, though, to talk a little bit about Lion Chief 2.0, how that differs from Lion Chief Plus in the past, how it differs a little bit from Legacy, and all of the amazing things that you can do with these trains.
Yeah, the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 technology and the whole line really has taken off well for us in the past couple of years, where we've taken the Lion Chief Plus line and added TMCC capabilities to the engines, as well as upgrading and adding some features as well. One thing that you'll note with using the Bluetooth app is that these engines do have 5 different pitch levels of either the horn or the whistle, as well as 5 different pitch levels of the bell. And this also allows for people to acquire engines that are more friendly to those smaller traditional size layouts. So these engines are able to do the smaller curves on layouts that your traditional 3-rail people have. With O scale, you don't always have a giant room for a full-on layout to have fun with the full-scale legacy equipment. So having the Line Chief Plus 2.0 line available really brings more life to those smaller layouts. The Hudson is definitely a Lionel classic. Everybody loves the Hudson, right, Ryan? Really,
absolutely. It's definitely a stalwart Lionel locomotive.
Yep.
War Bonnet F3s and Hudsons and GG1s. The holy trinity of Lionel.
Yep. So, and I think what people have actually been asking for and waiting for this one. So I'm glad that we're doing the Hudson. And then also the newly acquired Genesis really is going to make a great addition to the line, adding smoke and sounds and all the lighting features and electrocouplers to this new tooling for us. It's definitely been fun, and we're excited to launch it, especially with all the different paint schemes coming up for the 50th anniversary of Amtrak.
Yeah, there's been a lot that has gone into that Genesis tooling. It really is a completely new and much upgraded locomotive from the way it had been offered previously as sort of your generic general starter set engine. A lot more of an enhanced feature set in this one this go around.
Yep.
All right. As promised, we've got a new train set. Another popular theme for us over the past several years has been our Army and military theme. So we've got a new Army train set with the ammunition car, the missile launching car, the command center caboose with the searchlight. Available separate sale is another flat car with additional missiles. We're bringing back the exploding ammo dump and missile launching accessory. We've got some new buildings that go along with this theme. The Army Navy surplus store, and one of my favorites is the Welcome Home house with the yellow ribbons, star and the blue star ribbon, and so forth. A really neat piece that should fit on anybody's layout.
Yeah, and one of the great parts about this new Ready to Run set too is that it will be equipped with the VSR, the voice streaming capabilities. Mm-hmm. So being able to be your own general inside your engine definitely sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll put some fun sounds in this for sure, but I can only imagine the sounds recordings that people will add on their own.
Especially when I'm launching rockets at that exploding ammo dump.
Lights. It's the way I sit in my office. My monitor blocks me from the thing. More new accessories. Megan Frazier, one of our project managers who handles the accessory line, has dubbed 2022 to be the year of the accessory, and she is intent on putting out as many new operating and new lighted and regular accessories as we can. Yes. A lot of dedication to that. So we've got a slightly revised version of the burning house that should be on its way here by the end of this year. Some more accessories that may look familiar from some of the old MTH tooling. A return finally of the flag station, in the train orders building, which is I guess equivalent to like a more scale version of the gateman, right, Dave?
Correct. Yep. And this one also has the working flag on top. The guy does come out of the building, and it does have a lamp there on the deck. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of activity with this one, and it goes great with a activation track.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Okay, keep on saying this is just a tease. There's certainly more fun buildings and things in the catalog, but you were gonna continue.
Yeah, I was just going to mention too that the barn there, which is one of our newly acquired tooling, we have added some Christmas lights around the edge. It might be hard there to see in that picture, but we've already seen a sample of it, and it's a whole lot of Christmas, which is definitely great for a winter or Christmas themed layout.
Yeah, that barn, you have to kind of see that one in person to appreciate the size of that accessory. We've got the reindeer's names under each window, which is pretty cool. Yep. You open it up, you've got the hayloft inside and everything. It's a neat accessory.
A little gantry crane actually moves. Mm-hmm. So it's a cool accessory.
And you want to talk a little bit about that burning house, Dave, and because you and your team have done a lot of work on that smoke and flame unit over the last year or so to make it as impressive as I wanted it to be.
Yes, and since Ryan's marching orders were that it come with a DSMK, which is our dual smoke unit that we use in our scale legacy steam engines, this thing actually puts out a ton of smoke when you have it on the high setting. And we've been revising the design over the past couple of years, and we finally got it to where we think it's perfect. So you do have the option to set it to low if you are a more reasonable human being. But if you are the kind that does desire for more smoke and everything like Ryan Kunkel, then there is a high setting that will allow both channels of the smoke unit to turn on and probably just fill your entire layout room with smoke. So make sure you buy the scented smoke fluid that we sell, because that's much more pleasant if you're going to be exposing yourself to that much smoke, Ryan.
More smoke, more sound equals more fun. That's how Lionel trains work.
That's
The
true.
louder, the faster, the brighter, and the smokier, the more fun we're having.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely could see you on tool time.
Okay, we do have some great traditional rolling stock as well this go around. First, big shout out to a friend of both Lionel and the LCCA, Angela Trotta-Thomas. We've started a new series of boxcars with her, with some of our classic locomotives done with her art style on the sides of our boxcars. This catalog, we're bringing out one of my personal favorites, the GG1. Angela does great work, and she's been just such a great part of the Lionel family over these years that it's always nice to feature her pieces in the catalog. I just bought my first Trotta print a couple of months ago, and it showed up, and it's now hanging in my home office just in time for me to be back in my work office, because that's how it goes sometimes. But wonderful woman and an amazingly talented artist. So we're happy to keep that series going. You'll see lots of new Christmas stuff to come from her, I am sure, in the next catalog, but I can't get ahead of myself that far just yet. We've got a few more great looking anniversary series boxcars that will be produced here in-house. We've got the Smithsonian celebrating their 175th this year. It's also the 160th anniversary of the Great Locomotive Chase and of the Union Pacific. So some wonderful, colorful railroad history boxcars there also. All right. It wouldn't be an LCCA convention without me giving a shout out to our buddy Ed, who is the American Flyer contingent of the LCCA, and give you a little snippet of some American Flyer. There is indeed a nice flyer section in the back of this catalog. It's the 75th anniversary of American Flyer S-Gauge, and we're continuing that celebration this year with many pages of more new product. A couple of nice sets. We've got the Clinchfield and the Texas and Pacific. The T&P set specifically designed to be sort of because it's a special year, we wanted a nice fully featured train. So you've got one of our Flyer Chief GP7s, the operating log car, a Rail Sounds equipped box car, lighted caboose, and then the tank car and covered hopper there as well for a really fun and action-packed set. We've got a lot of other animated cars as well, including a patriotic music sounds boxcar, like our Christmas cars, but patriotic, so you can put it on your layout all the time. And we've got the operating ramp car for our T-Rex oil company, which the platform pivots and drops, and the oil delivery truck rolls off on that. And a new one that I'm kind of hoping will be something you might see upgrade to the O-Gauge line in the not too distant future, our Hobo and Bull boxcar set. This is a two-pack of the operating brakeman boxcars, where on one car you'll have the hobo running the boards, and the car behind him or ahead of him would be the railroad police officer in hot pursuit. So a fun little two-pack, a little new variation on the walking brakeman boxcar theme for Flyer. There's a lot of other non-operating rolling stock and a few accessories for Flyer guys in the catalog as well. But again, in the interest of giving you just a little tease and a reason to tune back in tomorrow when the catalog opens, we've hidden some of them from you. It's kind of like Christmas Eve. You know, we're letting you open one present early, but we still got to save a few for the morning. All right. So with that, we'll transition here into again some announcements, some upcoming events. This is going to be a very action-packed month for us and season ahead. Now that things are opening up again and getting back into full motion. The catalog will be available tomorrow morning for viewing, so you get to spend the whole weekend thumbing through that. Your printed copies will be on their way to you soon as well. Everything is right on schedule from the printer. And then Dave and I will be back Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and we'll do our usual run through of the whole catalog. We'll be out of breath by about 4:30, and we'll take some of your questions live as we do it on our Facebook and YouTube channels, and try and cover some of the things we didn't cover today, and repeat a lot of what we've said too, so that the folks just joining for the first time have the opportunity to enjoy our colorful banter with each other. Who's the one that's going to be out of breath, Ryan? Well, me, because I never let you say anything.
Exactly.
But then we have some more great events coming up the rest of this month. The following week, July 27th, we'll be part of an Amtrak special hosted by Train World on their social media channels. We'll be there with Matt Donnelly, who we've been working with from Amtrak for several years now on a variety of projects. There'll be some other manufacturers there as well. It's a big anniversary year for Amtrak too, of course. And so we'll have lots of good things to talk about on that show. Then another week we'll be on with the Strasburg Railroad, giving you some more information on a project that you now all know about. Myself and Ryan Merrill from the Strasburg. It'll be the Ryan and Ryan show, which is twice as good as the Ryan and Dave show. And
no, I could use a little R&R.
A little R&R with them, and we'll be taking, I'm sure, some comments and questions from both of us for those who may have questions. The Strasburg Railroad, I will mention, since things are opening back up and they've been so helpful to us, they are in full operation as well. So if you are able to get out of the house and want to go do something and spend a nice weekend around trains, Strasburg is a great destination. And the attractions are starting to open back up there. Go for a train ride, go to my old stomping grounds across the street, and tour the restored locomotives and rail cars, and stay at the caboose. Have a good time up there, and give those guys. Or if you're not in the Strasburg area and you've got a railroad or a museum near you, get out and see them, because they would certainly enjoy welcoming you all back as much as you will enjoy getting out and riding the rails again. And then last but not least on this calendar, of course, we have the warehouse sale tucked in there as well. And then we've got the Eastern Division TCA Fall York Show. Yes, we will be there. We do intend on having our spot and seeing you all once again in person. And if all goes according to plan, Dave, you and I may have some new fun announcements to share at that time as well.
Yeah, we will. And that's definitely an event that we're looking forward to after not being able to go to any shows in quite a long time now.
Mm-hmm. I miss it. All right.
That's a good event series coming up, huh? Oh, bringing back the others.
Yeah. See, they know now that we're starting to talk about the future. This is where they got to rein us in, because I'll start talking about stuff I'm not supposed to talk about yet.
Yeah.
Before Howard just grabs the hook and they start playing my Oscars exit music, let me say one last time how much I appreciate all the years we've had together at these LCA conventions, and cannot wait to be at the next one in person with you all again. It's a great organization, so many friends, and can't wait to catch up with you all and talk about not just trains, but how everyone's been doing all these years. So thank you for the opportunity for allowing us to share this with you and to be part of your experience.
Yeah, on behalf of the entire Lionel team, I think we just want to say thank you. Have a great evening. Enjoyed spending this time with you, and looking forward to seeing everybody in the near future. Thanks everybody on this for all the hard work that goes into this and putting this together. But everyone have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.